Bottoms, it's Monday. It's Monday. That means we have to crawl our way back up to the top of this week. But I'm here with you to make this horrible Monday better. Or maybe you're having a great Monday. However you're feeling, I am so excited that you are tuned in this week. We have my new friend, Dash Turner, on the podcast. I saw him a few months ago auditioning for something, and I thought, this kid is so funny. I have to have him on the podcast. And he did not disappoint. He has this very funny tone and approach to his comedy. It's a real vibe. It's kind of a vibe of an episode. I think you'll like it. We get into having sex with a low libido and low libido hookups. And then also there's a skin shedding story. So kind of a mix of things happening. And then I'm heading to Cleveland, Cincinnati, Columbus, Philadelphia, Minneapolis, and Pittsburgh. So go over to ashleygavin.com and sign up for the text alert. It really, really helps me. And I'm about to give away that dinner date because we reached our marketing goal. So now I have to do that. So someone's going to win dinner with me. You have to be 18. And then as always, big push for the Patreon. We have a new staff member. We've moved into a studio and we're producing a special. So if you feel like donating that $1, it really, really would help now. So patreon.com/WHGS. And just a clarifying note, you get lots of perks in return and on your billing statement. Don't worry, it won't say gay sex on it. It'll just say Patreon. You don't have to explain to your partner what you're doing. You're just helping out a creator. Thank you. All right, listen, you little queer weirdo. I know you've got a fantasy. Maybe it's a whirlwind romance in Italy, or getting wet dancing in a rainstorm, or maybe just actually talking to that woman you see across the bar and have been staring at for 5 hours. No matter how you want to get steamy this season, Dipsea has a sexy story for you to indulge all your fantasies. If you don't know about Dipsea, Dipsea is an app full of hundreds of short, sexy audio stories designed just for you. They bring scenarios to life with immersive soundscapes and characters, no matter who you're into or what turns you on. Find stories about that intriguing coworker with a British accent, or hooking up with your hot yoga instructor. It's your go-to place to spice up your me time, explore your fantasies, or heat things up with a partner. And guess what? For listeners of the show, Dipsea is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/gay. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to DIPSEA stories.com/gay. One more time, listener, that's dipseastories.com/gay. Listener, you guys know more about my sex life than maybe anyone on the planet. So if you don't know that I'm using Foria to enhance my solo sexual experiences and my experience with partners, you got to get on board. You got to listen to me talk about Foria for just 1 second, because Foria makes incredible plant-based products that make your orgasms feel more full, more powerful, last longer. I've tried it myself. I highly recommend their Awaken Arousal Oil and Sex Oil. If you don't know anything about Foria, they use all natural and plant-based ingredients to intensify sexual pleasure and relieve discomfort. They have a serious cult following with tens of thousands of people. Here's a real-life testimonial. My wife and I use the Sex Oil and Awaken Arousal Oil, and when she gets on top, we both come so hard that we see sounds and hear colors. So yes, you have my permission to try this. I fully endorse you to go ahead and treat yourself to more, deeper, fuller pleasure wherever you can find it as often as possible, and you can start with a bottle of Foria. Foria is offering a special deal for our listeners. Get 20% off your first order by visiting foriawellness.com/Ashley or use code Ashley at checkout. That's FORIA wellness.com/Ashley for 20% off your first order. And I recommend trying their Awaken Arousal Oil and Sex Oil. You'll thank me later, listener.
I do feel like in general, me not having like the high libido has made me do things in the past where I'm like, I maybe shouldn't have done that. I like went on a date with a guy who lived like a little bit south of LA, and despite being mixed, I'm clearly very pale, so I sunburned like a motherfucker. We like hooked up, we were in his bed. I woke up at like 3 a.m., sat up in bed or whatever, and you know how snakes shed like an exoskeleton during like molting season or whatever?
Oh no.
So I molted. I shed my exoskeleton.
That was really good.
Thank
That was
you.
a really good air horn.
Thank you.
You're getting better. Good job. I'm on very little sleep. So this is sometimes these are the best episodes.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of
the
those.
loopy doopy episodes.
This will be like greatest of all time, kind of championship episode.
And thank you. Very good. Good work, Maddie.
Thank you.
Maddie's been practicing on the soundboard.
I have.
Can I talk about my week a little bit?
Please.
Because I have I'm really excited about this. The Liberty are going to the playoffs. And I'm super excited about it because I've never...
And what sport is that?
Oh.
The lesbians are upset. The New York City lesbians are upset right now, Maddie. So I became this year a season ticket holder to the WNBA New York Liberty. And
let's go.
I went with my guy friend who is a lesbian. Oh, this should be the banter that I do up top. My friend Mark is a lesbian.
Yeah.
You want to hear something incredible?
Mm-hmm.
So the man loves female sports. He works in female sports. He's like a gym guy at a college. And he broke up with his girlfriend. It's really funny because we would go to the game every week and we'd sit next to each other and we'd be having deep emotional conversation until something like happened in the game. So he'd be like, I just feel like my girlfriend isn't listening to
I love that. 0 to 1,000 immediately.
Yeah, immediately. And he and his girlfriend broke up and it was very sad. But then the next week, he's telling me about this woman who's taller than he is, and former professional female athlete, and I think that's super important to note.
That's awesome.
He's telling me about this woman that he's really into, and he is like, she is so tall and so powerful and athletic, and I'm like, oh my God, Mark, you sound like such a lesbian that you just got out of this relationship. And then I go away for like a month because I'm touring, I go on vacation. I come back, they've moved in together.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy? He's a male lesbian.
A month is so fast, too.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's a true U-Haul.
Yeah.
And I was joking. I was like, are you guys going to get a sperm donor? Because he's just like, is that not the gayest shit you've ever heard in your entire life?
That's literally so
It's
funny.
deeply, deeply gay.
Yeah.
Also, I love that the characteristic of her was she's so tall.
Yeah. No, but that's what he's into. He's into like, he loves the player and not in like a fetishy weird way.
Not like he's not like into like a dom or something. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I didn't ask him about that.
You were like, and so kind of jumping off that, how do you guys fuck?
Do you have tapes I can watch?
No, I mean, but he's just like, he's a better feminist than I am. He's much better. Because he's okay, this just speaks to, this is bad. Because he's looking at the players, not sexually, but I know that if some 7-foot woman approached him after a basketball game all sweaty, he'd be like, you had a triple-double, of course I'm fucking you. Right? But I'm looking at those, I'm not looking at those players sexually. I'm looking at the women that are coming in for one game and sitting in the front celebrity row, and I don't know how they got there in their little skimpy outfits, and I'm like, how did you get here? Those are the women that I'm looking at like,
I respect
he's like a better feminist.
You're saying he's a merit-based fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
He fucks off of work performance.
Yeah.
Which
Exactly.
sounds deeply problematic.
I do too. Yeah, right. But I do too. But I feel like he's blind to like the male gaze, and I'm not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's
What?
almost less corrupted.
I'm trying so hard to process.
We should say who you are. We're in the apartment. We're having gay sex. We're having gay sex with a great guest today. Dash Turner, writer on Rutherford Falls.
Yes.
On Peacock.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that you were doing that.
Yeah, I'm kind of low-key. I did it from New York the whole time, too, so it's just kind of here.
If people don't know about the show, tell them about the show.
Yeah, so I'm going to look straight into the camera. So Rutherford Falls, I'm looking away from the camera now, is a Native American sitcom starring Ed Helms, Jana Schmieding, Michael Grey Eyes, and it's about the kind of racial controversies that take place in an upstate New York town regarding a statue, but then also, I came on board for season 2, and it kind of pivots away from statue stuff to more kind of life stuff, more native stuff. We get super native. God bless.
I can't watch the show anymore if it's not statue stuff.
Yeah, I know how much you love statues.
I know. I really only watch statue-based shows. It's
Yeah.
been a while, honestly.
She just started watching TV, actually.
Yeah, just this. Yeah.
I finally got Hulu or Peacock rather. How long have you been doing comedy in New York?
Yeah. So started
So
in New
things
York.
are going well.
Things are going
I mean,
really
things
well.
are going really well. You're on a Writers Guild critically acclaimed show.
Yes. I actually just got my WGA card too. It took a while.
Oh, congratulations.
I was going to applaud when she said your name, and then I couldn't find the button. So
I
that was
love
a double
that.
applause.
That's two. No, but the WGA card is bigger because now you get paid like a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
Kind of. Maybe. Hopefully. But
They haven't paid you yet?
no, I got paid, but I mean just, in the future going forward. I don't
Yeah.
know. But what was the question? When did I start? So New York, I got to New York 2015. I've been doing comedy since then. But I did the whole like improv and
How do we
sketch
not
thing.
know each other?
I feel like we've passed, the ships that pass in the night, like metaphor.
Yes.
We've probably passed as ships hundreds of times.
Yeah.
I just didn't clock.
We
each
started
other.
exactly at the same time
Love
in
that.
the same city. Well, I think we're bantered. Oh, someone wrote in, Colin, my Mormon fan. Xmo. Thank you, Colin, for
Xmo.
writing. For those of you who are really deep in my TikTok, this is the Xmo from the show, that the viral video. Colin wrote in and said we should call the first 15 minutes of the podcast a pun on foreplay, like pod play or forepod.
Oh.
For
Forepod sounds like
Forepod.
Forepod sounds like the cryo chamber of like a
Yeah.
spaceship that's taking you to Mars. Like the
Yeah.
forepod where like the
Yes.
astronauts sleep for 200 years.
Yeah, and one of them like woke up early from the forepod, and now she's walking around stuck. Yeah.
Now she's gonna die on the spaceship alone.
Yes.
I like pod play though.
pod play, we could
Pod
call it
play's
pod. If
fun.
you guys, if listener, write in if you have something better. Anyway,
Oh, can I pitch mine?
pictures.
First base.
You can call it first base.
Is first base considered foreplay though? I don't know.
I don't know.
Or is that just sex?
I think everything is
Sex.
sex or foreplay or
Yeah.
both.
Mm.
I don't really know.
Yeah.
But we're in the apartment. We're having gay sex. We're having gay sex with Dash Turner today. Thanks for being here. Fancy schmancy
Thrilled
writer
to be here.
in the guild, comedian. And we're going to introduce ourselves, which we should have done 20 minutes ago. I'm Ashley Gavin, cis gay, white woman, she, her pronouns. I think this will probably be coming around when I'm coming to Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Ohio. We've got Irvine in November, Minneapolis. I don't know. Then, as always, the Virgin Hall Monitor to keep me from getting canceled wearing their pocket protector to protect my pussy.
Yeah.
It's Maddie Wiener.
Hello, I'm Maddie Wiener. She, they, bisexual, genders, and figuring it out. And
Are you still a virgin this week?
I am still a virgin this week.
Okay, week
No
4,
gay sex
I
yet.
think, of
Oh
being
God,
a
we're
virgin.
keeping track.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
we're
still a
keeping
virgin.
track.
I didn't get any pussy. I'm working on it. I want to like apologize to you every time I have a
You
fuck.
should.
Okay.
What's your excuse this
That's
week?
almost sex in and of itself. But
This could be a fun, one of my favorite things with the host is coming up with like a weekly thing. What's your excuse this week, you virgin? What is the excuse
my excuse this week is I finally recharged my Rose suction toy. And I was like, I could be the last person on earth and I would die happy.
Wait, question.
Yeah.
Rose suction toy? Do you just like put it on the out? Like what?
It's like
It's a clit sucker.
It's a clit sucker.
I don't really know what a vagina looks like or is. 'cause
Have you
I'm-
seen one?
I've seen them as kind of like a bit, but I love that. I love that you can just suck the clit. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
keep going.
It's a huge for a lot of people of vulvas because that's the. Oh, do you see what I did there? That's huge. Congratulations. I actually.
Sorry, let's bring in the choir, the celebratory choir. Actually has a.
I'm appropriate for 1 second. We bring in like the gay men's choir. What do they call themselves? What are the gay? I'm looking at you.
I think it is the gay men's choir.
The gay men's choir.
There's a Sacramento gay men's choir, and they call themselves the gay men's choir.
I think that's what they're called, right? I wonder how we book them.
Or you can book an a cappella group, and that's effectively a gay men's choir.
Closeted gay men's choir.
Yes.
But yeah, I know. The thing that'll cancel me is not saying the right thing. It's congratulating
It's you
myself.
being like, that was really big for me.
It was huge. I nailed it so
Yeah.
so fluently and so fluidly.
Yeah, hubris.
What am I talking? Yeah. Oh, so much.
Mhm.
What am I talking about?
Clit sucking.
Clit sucking. It's big because a lot of people, if you are having trouble coming, first of all, check out Remy Casimir's How Come podcast. Great resources there. But a lot of people, that's the only way that they can come.
Nice.
But it also can be too much at first. It can be too much.
Right.
A
I'm
cautionary
revealing
tale.
It sounds like you maybe have a personal story about this, or no?
Well, if you do it wrong, it hurts.
Okay.
Nobody
Yeah.
tells you that. Everyone on Twitter was like, this is the best fucking thing in the world. And I was like, I think my pussy's broken. And then, but you got to ease into it. I
Okay.
didn't know. I just went like a jackhammer.
Yeah.
Well, I understand the impulse.
Yeah.
Because you get this thing and you're like, this is what's going to work for me. I mean, I don't know.
You know, and culture valorizes like going in the deep end, like jumping into the deep end, you know? Does that make sense?
It's so funny to me as a vibrator, me with a vibrator for any part of the commentary on that to be, well, culture valorizes.
exactly.
I was like, oh my God, it was so much more symbolic than I realized.
The thing is, it's not you. It's our society telling you to absolutely obliterate your clit.
Yeah.
Accliterate yourself.
Just maimed down there.
yeah.
I love that.
And do you mind introducing yourself with your pronouns and anything?
Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm Dash Turner. He, him, gay, native but not two-spirit. Twist. Do people know?
Is that a twist?
Yes.
You're talking to the wrong person.
Respect.
I didn't even know whether or not to laugh.
Yeah, because you're from New York City, which doesn't have a ton of natives. So basically, I feel like people hear somebody's native and they're like LGBT and they're like, you're two-spirit. Like, you're spiritual.
Right, because now, you know what? I'm going to butcher it. So, because
I want to hear you butcher
my
it.
understanding is two-spirit is like a gender androgynous type of deal.
Yeah, it's like more of a gender thing than a sexuality thing.
Yeah.
But it describes like a million different like tribal terms, or like encompasses all of them, and it's like it's to the point where like it means almost nothing. So like because it's like
great. So it falls under the LGBTQ blanket that gay, queer can mean whatever we want it to mean.
Yes, in that way, kind of. Yeah, it's like my tribe. It's like, you know, it almost feels like more of a job than anything, because it's like an unpaid internship almost. It's like, oh, okay, like way back when.
So
folks,
essentially what Maddie's doing over here.
yes, exactly. It was kind of like, you know, you had certain like responsibilities and like roles, both like in your village.
Were they gay ass roles? Were they like
A little bit.
performance and like
Yeah, it was like very,
also
like,
but like building porches?
Yeah.
It's like both sides of the queer.
yeah, making ice cream in like a bathtub. Is that a gay thing? I just kind of assume that's like a lesbian thing. Is that not?
I have no idea what you're referring to, but it just sounded like something some queer person named Kiosk in Brooklyn is doing right now.
Yes, exactly. What was I saying?
Two-spirit.
Two-spirit, yeah, okay, so let's get back there. Yeah, it was just kind of like a job. They like were very spiritual, like kind of, I don't want to say spiritual advisors, but they were kind of like the people you go to for shit.
So if natives did Queer Eye.
Yeah, but not at all.
But
I like that.
But I like the idea of like a queer coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That could be sick.
I do think I've been working on a joke about this. And so I'm going to use your experience. I'm going to take it and I'm going to make it my experience. I'm going to appropriate it in a way for my joke.
I give you permission.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're like so clearly describing a thing that was so bad. It was just so funny because the way you were saying it sounded like you were trying to make it sound like it was good somehow. But you're like,
oh, no.
So what I am going to do is I'm going to take it.
Yes, yeah.
And I was like, am I missing something?
That was the bit. The bit was that I was doubling down on how bad this was about to be.
But still with very corporate speak.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you're doing something bad, you got to use corporate speak.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this theory about queers on television that they have to be coaching you in order to get them on TV. It has to be like the best friend who's giving you the hard advice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In something narrative. Or if it's in reality, it has to be someone who's like on the fray, hovering above, giving advice as an outsider. You know what I mean?
Question.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch The OC?
I loved the OC because I wanted to fuck what's her face? Melissa.
Yeah, Marissa, yeah.
Oh.
Wait, so how does Luke's gay dad from season 1 fit into that paradigm?
Luke's gay dad.
Do you remember at the dealership when he's like making out
wow,
with the other guy?
you reached so deep to find an example to throw me off with. Yeah, I can't believe you even found that.
I'm going to undermine
Honestly, that was just, where's the ding? That was incredible.
500 points?
Okay, a use of gays in drama is just to cause drama.
So smart. You improv'd a perfect explanation.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I love that.
The challenging on it.
Yeah.
But I was just reminded of that as you
Yeah.
were explaining the two-spirit stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that all two-spirit people or whatever are on Queer Eye.
Yeah, but people really do turn to like natives for kind of education.
Yeah.
And they like if you do like a native show, they're gonna be like, I learned so much there. And it's like all we talked about was like anal. Like, what did you learn? I don't know.
Well, thanks for being here. Let's get into it. Gay sex. Did I have gay sex this? Oh yeah, I had gay sex this week. I'm not sure whether or not I want to talk about this story yet. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about this story. I had a doozy of a weekend. Well, you tell me. Do you want something where you can be petty, or do you want something sincere?
You mean a story from you?
Yeah.
I kind of like petty.
All right, let's go petty.
But is there a chance the person who this is about will listen to it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's
then do petty.
always. I don't. I don't have a life I don't have that luxury anymore.
Yeah. True. Yeah, where you can do like things anonymously.
Yeah, I think
Respect.
I think people just probably will listen. Okay, I'm going to do my best to hide the identity of this person as possible. So if you're picking up on who this is, don't.
My lips are sealed.
Thank you, you little hall monitor bitch. Don't tell anybody. Don't tattle on me, okay?
Can you text me the name?
No
and
more.
Instagram handle
I met someone while I was on the road.
in Sacramento?
I'm not saying where.
Okay.
And we hit it off. And I will say for reference that this is not something I've done in a really long time. But one time, my ex, actually, who is a wonderful human being, and it was a very amicable breakup, when it was pre-podcast, and when I met her, we had one date, and we really hit it off, but we lived in different places. We talked on the phone a few times, and I was like, fuck it. Like, do you want to come for the weekend? And if it doesn't work, you can stay with one of your friends, because she had all these friends in the area. She was like, yes, let's do that, and let's, like, be open and communicate if it doesn't work. And we had a great weekend together. So that's like my experience with moving too quickly in a relationship. Okay. Positive experience.
Mm-hmm.
I basically make the same offer to this girl because we hit it off.
Right.
You know what I mean? We had a great time
Mm-hmm.
and we had been talking on the phone late into the evening. We had phone sex.
Like on the phone?
Yeah.
That's so vintage. I love that.
Do you have
Very hot.
FaceTime sex?
I don't do any of that.
I've had FaceTime sex. Rare example here where I've actually done something. And
Oh my God. That is
thank you. Oh my God, she's had sex before.
We are so proud of you. I want
Yeah,
you to
we are
know.
very proud of you. Good work.
Thank you, Mom and Dad. Wow, what a weird scenario where my mom and dad would be telling me that. Disgusting.
I think it's great that you've had phone sex, honey.
We've always wanted that for you.
Yes. It's safe.
Your mother and I are so
The safest sex that you can have. Keep having it.
But it's clunky. Phone is better than
Yeah, phone's
FaceTime.
better.
FaceTime is like you have to prop it up on a wall. It's like not good.
Yeah. Also, like, what do you want to show? I don't know.
Yeah, there's like you have to just think a lot more. Whereas when it's just voice,
You have to look at yourself, too.
yeah, and you have to look at yourself.
Yeah,
and monitor
it's
your
sex where you see
screen.
yourself.
Yeah, no.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm glad we're all on the same page here.
Yeah, it's like
Because I think
watching
some
a
of
sex
Gen
tape.
Z, I don't know, you tell me, they're really into FaceTime sexting and sex and stuff like that. I think
I
it's...
could never. I did it once when I was long distance and I was like, this sucks.
The imagination is such a huge part of long-distance sex stuff. Like, you want there to be a lot of imagination involved.
Yeah.
And the phone is so intimate. So we have phone sex. And I'm like, look, why don't you come to New York? It'll be fun. And if it's not, she was like, I'll like hang out with my friends or whatever. And I was like, great.
You guys talked about the backup plan.
No, because
I
you
love that.
gotta, look, you gotta have, if you're gonna move that quickly into a weekend with someone, you gotta have a contingency plan.
You can't just be like, hey, and then we'll just hang out in my apartment if it's weird.
Yeah, exactly. So she wasn't like immediately buying the ticket. And I wasn't sure if it was like because she was hesitant or if because she wanted me to pay. But I was like, look, I'll split the ticket with you. Like, I didn't understand what was going on, but there was a lot of hesitancy. And then finally I heard when she was coming, when she was arriving, all the whole thing. And I was like, cool. So she arrives. Well, first of all, she's like, hey, I'm going to try and stay up the whole bus ride here. I was like, I don't think that you should do that. I think you should sleep on the bus. But she's like deeply committed to not sleeping on the bus. And then she gets here and she's like, I'm so tired. And I was like, well, yeah, you just took a 6-hour bus ride or whatever. I was like,
Yeah.
I offered her to nap. She refuses to nap. She's like, no, I don't like napping. And I was like, okay, then don't nap. I was like, I'll nap with you. She was like, no, I don't want to nap. This is when I was like, oh no.
Like she's uncomfortable or something's weird or
Something is,
Yeah.
don't you think that's a little odd?
Yeah.
Who's afraid to sleep on a bus?
I don't know.
I mean, that guy did get beheaded a while ago on a bus, but aside from that, it's pretty much safe.
I'd rather sleep through that.
I would sleep through getting beheaded for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to be awake for the beheading or not?
No.
Yeah, so she won't sleep. And then I'm like,
She's like a baby. We can't get her down. She doesn't stay down for more than 2 hours.
She wouldn't feed.
yeah, it was just like really strange. And so she was obviously in a strange mood. So I was just like, she's just tired. I'm like, okay, I'll show her my neighborhood. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you guys can see. The Brooklyn Bridge is right there.
Mm-hmm.
The light is beautiful. It's a beautiful weekend. I like take her out to see the Brooklyn Bridge. It's one of those scenarios where you're like, I don't want to criticize this person.
But they're a fucking freak bitch.
But like, you're like, this doesn't feel normal. I took her out to see, and I was like, what do you think? And she just had no reaction. And then I started reflecting on myself. And I was like, well, what did you expect from her? Like, you asshole. Like, not everyone has to react to, you think you're such a hero for bringing her to see the Brooklyn. Now I'm spinning. You know what I mean? She just like seemed so cold and distant. And then the same thing at dinner. I brought her to my favorite Chinese place. Like, she just didn't seem to be enjoying herself at all.
Was she like visibly sleep deprived during this or no?
So that's what I'm thinking the whole time. I'm like, it's probably just asleep. Maybe she's uncomfortable.
It's so bizarre though, because it's like, it seems like this weird thing of like, well, you're in a weird spot, but also you came up here and really went out of your way to like go on this trip.
Yeah. So I'm trying not to pressure her or make her feel strange. I don't want her to feel alone in New York City, like all this stuff. So then I start to plant the seeds of like, I need to come up with some kind of contingency plan here because I don't feel comfortable having someone feel uncomfortable around me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because then you're like culpable too. I don't know.
Yeah, like if I behead her.
Yes.
But that's like a nice, responsible way to do it is like, okay, even if she's not saying anything, I'm picking up on this, so I'm going to like acknowledge that you're uncomfortable and try to do something about it.
Very good hall monitoring. So I'm like, oh, what neighborhood do your friends live in? Because she said she had friends. And she's like, oh, well, they're on Long Island. And I was like, okay, no friends in the city. Got it. So now my alarm is fully going off.
Love that.
Because I think it was a little bit of a white lie.
That she had friends at all in the city? At all.
There's no friends in Long Island either.
There's no friends.
Yeah.
This girl does not have friends.
She lives a life of solitude in the mountains.
Yeah, right. But don't you think she's like, oh, I go, because the way she had expressed it to me, she knew all these places in the city. She comes here all the time. She has all these friends here.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah. Did
you say anything to her of like, hey, you seem uncomfortable? What's going on?
Your vibe is atrocious right now.
Well, that's the thing is like, when you're in that situation, it can be really hard not to blame yourself. I didn't know.
Well, it's hard, especially if they didn't do anything specific. It was just like you said, like your vibe is atrocious.
The vibe was atrocious.
It's like, what did I do something? And it's like, no, it's just like the fiber of your being and the like energy you're radiating. It's kind of almost sub-perceptual, but I feel it in my bones.
Oh my God, you guys.
And it permeates your core, so it's everything you are.
But that's how bad the vibe was. But you're so right. She didn't do anything wrong because she really wasn't doing anything. You know what I mean?
God.
It was one of those things where you're like, did we ever have chemistry? Did I hallucinate this whole...
Wait, so what happened? Did you spend the night at your place?
Here's the part that I should have led with. So it was so strained between us that when she got here, we were hanging out and I didn't kiss her all day.
It's so funny. You talk about like lesbians moving fast. You were like, so we meet up for our first date and we're already not sleeping together anymore. The marriage is on the rocks. It's like your first date like was a divorce.
We had fully U-hauled and ended it before we had even U-hauled. That's so funny. Honestly, wait till you hear the rest of it because it's so accurate. But by the time she got here, we had run out of things to talk about because it was so strained. And one of the things she said to me, she turned to me, and I think she was just super anxious, and she goes, "Tell me something random like that you wouldn't otherwise say or tell anybody." She said that to me. And so I said, yeah, I can't do that.
That's an impossible prompt.
I was like, I don't know what you're like. I was like, because I'm the whole day am trying to make conversation with her and like can't do it. And I don't know if you can tell, but I have a little bit of a reputation for being good at talking to people.
Yeah.
You know what
You're
I
an
mean?
extrovert. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's my job. And I talk
Yeah.
with people on stage, and as mean as I seem, like I'm actually pretty empathetic and trying to read them.
Yeah.
And I talk to people here and
Mhm.
I pride myself. I love talking to people. I love interviewing people. And I'm like talking to her all day, but yeah. And then she asked me that question. I was like, are we going to do a trust fall? Like, what is this
my God.
camp? Like, is that an icebreaker question? So she comes to some shows. I don't know whether or not she had a good time. I couldn't tell you if she had a good time at all. Just no reaction. I mean, like totally. I have no idea. And
Did you like
so
lock eyes
bizarre.
with her mid-set? Like, did you like kind of watch her?
No, honestly, and it was one of the few times where I was not nervous to be performing in front of a woman I was interested in.
Yeah.
Because I was like, she's just really sad, and so I'm just gonna do my set the way
It's a
I.
lost cause. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys have been listening for a long time, you know I rarely speak negatively about people, and I want to be clear, I'm not judging. I think something happened. Like, I don't know. Well, actually, I do semi-know what sort of happened. But then...
The bus crashed like 6 times on route. Yeah, she was traumatized.
Right, exactly. She's going through PTSD.
Yeah.
She just didn't tell me.
Every time she shuts her eyes, it's like the bus flipped over, like, flying off a bridge.
It's like, what happened? Listener, write in what happened to this woman on the way here.
Oh my God.
That it was so different before and after the first time we met. But then the next morning, I took her to my favorite brunch spot. Just massive L on the brunch.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Just again, it had not gotten better
I
with
just
sleep.
don't know whether it feels weird because like, am I being selfish that I'm looking for her to have joy? You know what I mean? That's the weird voice that plays.
But it's like,
in
of
my
course
head.
you want the date to go well.
Yeah.
It's like you're on like a 3-day long date.
and
That's so scary. A 3-day long date.
Yeah, it's quite the commitment.
I love you people for your
Yeah.
bravery. Launching straight into a 3-day date.
I will say there were also some other things that were clearly like signs of anxiety. She was really obsessed with the schedule. She was like, what are we doing? When are we having this? When are we going to bed? I was like, oh man, I don't know. Like, we're just doing a New Year. It was weird because I didn't want to throw it back on her. I didn't want to be like, why are you so obsessed with the time? But I also was like a little startled by it.
Well, and it's hard not to because it's like that obviously has nothing to do with you. It seems like you did nothing wrong and she came in with carrying an energy from something else. And then it's like, it's hard not to be like, hey, can we talk about what the fuck is clearly going on with you?
Mhm.
Because like we're doing bridges, we're doing Chinese food. Like,
yeah.
Not that she like
comedy show. Like,
yeah, it seems like she was like, I don't know, going through something.
Yeah. So then finally after brunch, I need to go I'm going to this wedding. So I had to go buy things for the wedding. And I'm already a little anxious when it comes to like dressing up for something. So bringing her along to like buy some of the stuff for the wedding I was now getting anxious myself. And so on the train ride up, I was like, hey, like, I really tried not to put it on her. I was like, I'm sensing that maybe this is not working out the way that we thought this would work out. And she said to me, yeah, last night I was looking up other places to stay. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I was like, did I do something wrong? And she was like, no, I just like, I'm really anxious. And I was like, okay, so this date in my mind, I'm like, this is done.
Yeah.
This is done.
Yeah.
Right? You have to.
Well, and if you're really, really anxious, it's like, I mean, as someone who I've had anxiety my whole life, you just want to crawl away and not do anything. It's like a real, yeah.
Can I say something actually? She was looking at places to stay. This is New York. There's a million places to stay. She could have so easily just walked to like, a Ramada, a La Quinta.
Yeah. I don't know why she stayed, but I ended up just paying for her hotel. And because
Oh
I
my
was
God,
like,
that's so sweet.
I was just like, I don't want you to.
Did you do a super cheap one? You should have done the La Quinta that's like under JFK.
Under JFK. Just traumatized her even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Put her in a bunker. But you know what? I will be honest and say before I met her, I had booked this vacation with another woman who's sort of main right now. And
Who sort of what?
yes, that's fair. Main.
Main.
My main
Main.
squeeze.
God. Okay, I just got that.
This is
We're back.
people hate the term main, and when I use it, and
Is it a term or is it just a thing that you say?
it's sort of
I mean, I guess that's a term, but is it a you term?
It comes from a
Undermine
radio.
her, yes.
Yeah, no, do it. It comes from like the radio edits when like in a song they'll be like, "That's my main bitch," and I would never call anybody that, so I use the radio edit of main.
Love. That's smart though.
Thank you.
I love that.
That's the okay. And so I'm going on this little trip with main. And I had mentioned I was going on a trip, and she was like, "Who are you going on this trip with?" And I was like, "Oh, honestly, I'm going with main. I'm sorry to tell you that." But she was like, "No, I'm not looking for a relationship. That's totally fine that you're going with main. Go with main." And then
It sounds like you're talking about like a panda. I'm going with my panda. Stole that bitch from a zoo.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Okay, I'm not gonna get into the. Okay, but
We'll keep going. Yeah.
so then when she was like, "I'm just anxious," when I probed a little bit more, she was like, "The whole trip with main really threw me off," and I was like, "That was weeks ago," and that is why she had the hesitancy, I think, of buying the ticket, and that's when I should have called the whole thing. I should have immediately just followed my gut and been like, "It seems like you're anxious buying this ticket." What do you think I'm going to get canceled for this? Like, I don't
No. She also might not listen.
Yeah.
She will. If you're listening or watching, bitch, I'm on your side, queen.
That took a turn I wasn't expecting.
Is that fun if we're both on her side? I think we are.
No, yeah, be on her side. I mean, was there a lesson to learn here other than...
Speaking as someone from the virgin community, well, I don't know. No, not that this person is a virgin either, but like that I'm someone who like I would get thrown by that too. So I understand where she's coming from. I don't think you did anything wrong. I just think it's like understandable that somebody would be like.
I also think it's understandable.
Like
I don't know why she then came and visited me.
But sometimes you try to, you're like, well, this would be fun. I'll like try to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like I've been there. I don't think it's. I mean, like I don't think you did anything wrong by being like you. Put her up in a hotel.
Yeah. And to be fair, we had a solid exchange at the end of it. At the end of it, she was like, "I'm sorry I didn't work out. Thanks for doing the whole thing. Like, I apologize for coming in with such anxious energy." And I was like, "No, I'm sorry we weren't as compatible." Because I do think there is a compatibility element here too.
Totally.
If we had been more compatible, I think the anxiety would have
Yeah.
been more easily assuaged.
I think assuaged.
Assuaged.
Never heard that word in my life.
Aswaggied.
Assauged. But that's my gay sex from this week.
Sounds like, yeah, that sounds really
depressing.
fulfilling.
I gotta be honest. It was a really hard weekend. Took a lot of emotional energy.
Pretty solid communication though.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
your problem solving skills on fleek.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate. And then you know what? She left, and I played Zelda, and I felt a lot better.
Which one? The new one?
Breath of the
Newish?
Wild.
Love.
Yeah.
Classic.
Listener, don't forget to support the Patreon, patreon.com/WHGS. That's how we pay Alex. He is a full-time employee of the podcast. We could not pay him on ads alone. Me also. This is full-time work, so please consider going and donating. And in return for those donations, you get bonus episodes. You get comped tickets when I'm in your city. You get extended, unfiltered, uncut episodes, weekly access to my Zoom stream of my show in New York, and lots of other stuff. Patreon.com/WHGS. Listener, don't miss me when I'm in your city. I'm touring 25 cities this year, and the best way to hear about it is via one text or email a year from me. AshleyGavin.com. You can go sign up, and it enters you to win free tickets or even dinner with me anywhere in the U.S. as long as you are over 18 and in the continental U.S. I have an international mailing list too for when I start touring Canada and Europe and Australia and stuff like that. AshleyGavin.com. Bottoms, I couldn't possibly be the only podcast that you're bottoming for. Let me recommend a great new podcast called Dare We Say. Join Josie Tota, Alicia Pascual Pena, and Yasmin Hamady, 3 fearless young actresses, disruptors, and best friends as they navigate the issues that affect their lives on Crooked's newest podcast, Dare We Say. From hookup culture and social media to structural racism and LGBTQ plus rights, the girls are leaving no stone unturned and no DM unread when it comes to discussing what matters. They won't shy away from diving deep into controversial topics, that are important to their generation. The girls even turn to their elders, actors, activists, comedians, experts, politicians, and 26-year-olds in an attempt to understand the world their generation was handed and what they can do to improve it. We promise you don't want to miss this show. So grab your kombucha, your iced coffee, and your 17 other beverages and catch a new episode of Dare We Say every Thursday wherever you get your podcasts. Listener, how's your junk today? Does it need some attention? Does it need some attention and you're looking for ways to feel inspired and unwind? Well, I have the perfect app for you from my friends at Dipsea. Dipsea is an app full of hundreds of short, sexy audio stories designed just for you. They bring scenarios to life with immersive soundscapes and characters, no matter who you're into or what turns you on. You can find something that intrigues you, like maybe a story about that coworker with a sexy British accent or hooking up with your hot yoga instructor. You can also hear the sexy voices of your favorite celebrities like ER Fightmaster and many others in stories like you've never heard before. New content is released every week, so in between listening to your favorite stories again and again, you can always find something new to explore. Dipsea also has sleep stories, wellness sessions, and now they offer written stories if you're more of a fan of the written word. It's your go-to place to spice up your me time, explore fantasies, or heat things up with a partner. I used Dipsea well before I even started this podcast. It's a great app. I highly recommend it. Video, online, adult content isn't for everyone, so I would definitely give this a try. And for listeners of the show, Dipsea is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/gay. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to dipseastories.com/gay. One more time, that's dipseastories.com/gay. Go check it out, listeners. Dash, did you have gay sex this week?
Ew, no. Can you imagine? Ew. No. I'm in my no libido era right now. I go through eras of having a libido or not. Right now, ever since the pandemic happened, I was like, wait, I actually don't want to have sex. And so I just don't. It's amazing. But I used to have a lot. I think soon I'll be back in an era of wanting it again, but I don't know. I feel like there's just a biological, I have a weird gene or something.
Yeah,
that just,
what is the level of,
on.
what are we talking about in terms of your circadian, your circumbian?
Yeah, circumbian.
Rhythm.
Yeah.
What is the cycle?
It really depends. Sometimes I go months or weeks or years. I don't know. It just kind of turns off. So
years?
Right now,
I relate to that very heavily. I've gone 2 years without having sex before.
Yeah. I thought you were a virgin.
Gay
virgin.
I'm gay virgin.
Got it. Okay, cool.
I just thought I had never touched another human being.
I was like, this is so vuln and cool. Love. And if you are a virgin, pop off, bitch. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just kind of I go on dates sometimes and I'm like, this was fun, but I really would, I don't know.
When you're in no sex era,
yeah.
Have you picked up any hobbies or done any fun stuff with the extra time?
Yeah.
What are your hobbies, Maddie?
I make custom handmade rugs and I bought a stamp collection.
Do you want to make a We're Having Gay Sex rug for the
I
studio?
would love to do that. Oh my God, that would be so fun.
Let's make some We're Having Gay. Can you imagine if we had a big ass rug that just said gay sex on it?
That would be incredible.
Oh my God, Maddie, please, will you make a rug
Okay,
for us?
we're going to keep updating on this because I'm going to work on this.
I'm so excited.
Rug. Yeah, shag. I love it. Gorgeous.
Listener, write in, what do you want to see on the We're Having Gay Sex rug? Come.
It literally can be as graphic as you want.
That was purely for me now. The two real men in the room were cracking up at the cum joke.
Oh my God. As a Call of Duty veteran, bitch, I'm the real man here.
Which Call of Duty did you play?
So I played all of them for a little while. I stopped when Black Ops came out.
I did not like Black Ops.
Yeah, wait.
But I was
also...
Modern Warfare. Bro, I had a whole little clan of 12-year-old boys that I played with. Mm-hmm. We had our own little group. Gabe.
If you're out there, King.
What's up, Gabe?
So get this, I actually still play a lot, actually.
On what platform?
Not a lot. I'm actually on PC now. But I started Xbox, which was really groundbreaking for me as a gay man, because that's not an LGBT platform at all. The queers go to Nintendo, and failing that, they'll go to PlayStation as a backup.
Yeah, I was on
Xbox,
PlayStation.
I'm a fucking who's that bitch who climbed Everest for the first time? I'm that, or I'm the free solo guy. Yeah.
Now, I'm just looking at this. I'm picturing the stats in my mind right now. The line of the people, the lesbians who came to listen to we're having
I know
sex.
that's gone.
And
It's
we're
zero.
like, oh, you play on PC? That's so cool, dude. I
we can
play
get him
on.
back. Wait,
Do you have the Alienware keyboard that lights up when you type on it?
Speaking of virgin behavior.
To be clear.
Wait, what?
And it's so mechanical keyboard is better than most keyboards. Like most keyboards.
Wow,
are
we are really.
Wait, I'm relating to you so hard because this is
You're gonna
also when
lose so many
this is the
times.
time that I've spent like not having sex. I've gotten really into mechanical custom keyboard caps.
Yes. Wait. Okay. Wait. Which ones? I have okay.
I'm like,
Wait. What's your board right now? What's your main?
wait, I don't have one,
now?
but I really want to get the
Okay.
the ceramic caps. Have you seen those on YouTube?
I'm
This
familiar.
ASMR.
I've never used them. I only have I have a chalk colorway.
I just want to be clear that I've had gay sex this week. I'm smashing puss at an alarming rate. Just for everybody who's concerned about the future of this podcast.
Yeah. And,
And I've-
there gay sex in the past. So think about that, bitch. Sorry, keep going.
And I have done neither. I have no excuse for my behavior. I'm simply really into trinkets.
The only
and
rug
obscure
that you're
Etsy
getting
shops.
is the one you're making. But anyway, going back to your libido, your circumbian rhythm.
Yeah. Even when I'm like high libido though, it's still I think it's like I have like moderate libido when does that make sense? Like most people are up here, so when they have moderate libido, that's my high libido.
Mm.
So even when like I feel like 90% of the time when I'm like hooking up with a guy, it's like I like him for sure. I like his personality, but in terms of like the core like motivation, I feel like other people are like feeling something I typically don't. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. Do you think it's the type of thing where it's an attraction thing, where if you really connect with someone,
Maybe.
you know, maybe you're intellectually attracted to them or whatever, or do you
Oh, is that
fully
sapiosexual?
sapio or
Yeah.
demi or whatever?
I was gonna say demi is like when you're maybe wrong, but isn't demisexual?
Look out, hall monitor.
But
Someone will correct us.
well, but isn't it when you are like you experience sexual attraction, but it's sort of contingent on like some emotional or romantic connection?
Yes, and I will say, I think that I might be that, which is super embarrassing.
I think I am that too.
I think that's like a lot of people.
Yeah, probably most people.
I would say the majority of
because
humankind, yeah.
this woman that came to visit me, truly stunning, beautiful. Once the anxiety started, my attraction level started going down too.
Yeah.
And then it was very interesting. It was very interesting that it just flipped like that. But anyway.
Yeah, but I do feel like in general, me not having like that high libido has made me do things in the past where I'm like, I maybe shouldn't have done that. Actually, I have a story about this now.
Okay.
So one time I was living in LA like a long time ago, just for like a summer in college or whatever. And I like went on a date with a guy who lived like a little bit south of LA. And by the way, despite being mixed, I'm clearly very pale. So I sunburned like a motherfucker. I had bubbled a little bit for this. And that'll be relevant later on in the story. So we like went to his apartment, or we like went on the beach. I think we like maybe did like hand stuff on the beach a little bit on like one of the lifeguard stations.
Nice.
Amazing. Hot in theory, but a lot of sand, which is actually
Was it
weirdly
during the
not
day?
hot. Nighttime.
Nighttime. Yeah, I
Super
love
hot.
I've had a nighttime. I should tell that story one day. A nighttime lifeguard chair
Email it to me.
experience. I'll just write it to you.
Yeah.
Just writing you fanfic.
Yeah, you should do like a letter, like a physical letter.
Yeah, I'll get a quill.
Bitch. Oh my
Carrier
God,
pigeon it over to you.
I love quills. I love carrier pigeons. So for sure make that happen. We like were kind of like I think vaguely doing hand stuff. He was like, we should go back to my apartment, which is a legal place to do this. And I was like, totally. We were like fucked up at this point. Or I was. Drink. Also smoke. Anyway, so we were in his apartment. We like hooked up. We were in his bed. I was kind of not super into it. Not because of him at all, but just because like I just don't have a super high libido. I woke up at like 2:30 or like 3 a.m., like 3 a.m.-ish. And I did kind of like, in sit up, the perfect form is to like have a straight torso.
Mm.
So I did a perfect crunch or perfect sit up, sat up in bed or whatever. And you know how snakes shed like an exoskeleton during like molting season or whatever?
Oh no.
So I molted. I shed my exoskeleton
Oh my god.
of skin from
In
the
the bed.
sunburn. Chekhov's gun. That was a Chekhov's gun situation with the sunburn. So I shed all of it in the bed. It was really like I turned around and looked, and it was like clearly a human body had like molted. It was like in the shape of a man. You
You
know?
were like, oh, I'm in good shape.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
Was it flaky or was it like one sheet you could have picked up?
Yeah, it was a little bit piecier than that, but it still was very much like, I'm leaving dead skin in this guy's sheets and I don't know what to do and I don't want to deal with it.
Obviously, very difficult to collect your dead skin. Super flaky. What do you put it in? You don't have a Ziploc bag with you.
Yeah.
You can't throw it in a backpack.
Yeah. Nobody
everything
tells
up.
you. Nobody tells you how to deal with your
Listener,
exoskeleton.
write in. What do you do with your dead flaky skin when you leave it on a partner's bed? Do you bring something for that? Let us know.
And should I have said something or apologized in any way? Kind of weigh in here. Feel free to slide into my DMs. I'll check them all. So anyway, he was like half awake. I was like, I'm gonna peace out. And he was like, no problem. And then I left, like went to the parking garage, drove back to LA, got home at like 4. The next day at like 9 a.m., I get a text from him that's like, hey, did you notice where my car was when you left? I was like, what? I like didn't reply because also I was asleep at that point because I had like just gone to bed. Anyway,
Yeah.
So then an hour later, I get another text that's like, my car was stolen.
I'm so glad you didn't do it because your DNA is all over the apartment.
You don't know that I didn't do it, bitch. I could have been leaving some shit out. Anyway, I like don't respond. And at that point I am awake and I'm like, is he accusing me?
Right. It is a little bit of a weird series of texts. Do you know where my car is? My car was stolen.
And then a couple hours later, he's like, never mind. They found it. Thank you, OnStar. And I'm like, was this whole thing an ad? Like, was I set up in like a bizarre long con as like an OnStar advertisement? Evidently, I did go on another date with him later, or several more dates later. Somebody had fully stolen his car, I think when I was in his bed. Because I don't think I actually saw his car in the parking garage. Anyway,
oh, wow.
Oh my
and
gosh.
they drove his car like 2 blocks and then like left it like on a curb. He was like, they took the change.
They took the change?
Yeah.
Huge risk to reward ratio there.
Yeah.
Get charged with stealing a car or 75 cents.
That is such a weird, quite a few mysteries going on today.
Yeah.
What was going on with this girl? Why did that guy steal that car?
We need Scooby and the gang here, stat, to work this shit out. Absolutely.
And something with Scooby-Doo and like, you know how they're always like pulling the mask off the bad guy? They're pulling the dead skin off of you. Oh, and it's still Dash. It was Dash the whole time.
And he's looking inflamed. Yeah. Very real.
And you mentioned this at the top with your libido. You were saying you had sex with this guy mostly because I can tell you have a lot of disdain for him as you talk about him.
Really?
You're like, this guy has got his stupid car stolen.
He was totally, if you're listening, brother, you were totally fine. He was totally fine. I was just kind of, when your hormones aren't there, kind of driving you to like, act romantically in the correct way. The vibe is just off.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe that bitch had low libido. I need to stop saying bitch. For a gay man, that's an honorific. Okay, anyway, maybe the person who came and visited had low libido.
I don't know. Our sexual chemistry was really good. Well, that's great gay sex. Thank you for sharing. Listener, you've probably heard me talk about Foria and their arousal oil and their sex oil. And if you haven't, let me tell you about the first time I tried the product. I was skeptical. I went in for a solo session and I popped out that bottle of Foria Awaken Arousal Oil. And my first thought was, wow, just in time for pumpkin spice latte season. This smells delicious. And then my second thought was, I can't believe that this stuff is working. I tried it out. It made my orgasm feel more full, more powerful. It lasted longer. There was a great tingly, warm sensation that I'm not sure how to describe. You got to try it for yourself. If you haven't heard me talk about Foria, let me just give you the quick spiel, okay? Foria uses all natural and plant-based ingredients to intensify sexual pleasure and relieve discomfort. Foria makes products that will transform your sexual pleasure, especially if you have a vagina or love someone that has a vagina. Foria products are made to help women and people with vulvas fully experience sexual pleasure, from heightened orgasms to more sexual comfort. And Foria's bestseller is the Awaken Arousal Oil, and it is the ultimate pleasure pregame. Used together, Foria's Awaken Arousal Oil and sex oil are the perfect combo for peak pleasure. So yes, you have my permission to try this. I fully endorse you to go ahead and treat yourself to deeper, fuller pleasure wherever you can get it as often as possible. And you can start with a bottle of Foria. Foria is offering a special deal for our listeners. Get 20% off your first order by visiting foriawellness.com/Ashley or use code Ashley at checkout. That's FORIA wellness.com/Ashley for 20% off your first order. And I recommend their Awaken Arousal Oil and Sex Oil. You will thank me later, listener. Maddie, I know you didn't have gay sex this week.
I didn't. And this story is not even, it's so the opposite of gay sex. It's not even straight sex. It's a straight failure.
Straight failure.
So my first boyfriend, I don't know if I've had this in the
straight
pod.
failure sounds like a YouTube compilation of like people just eating like dick like on a skateboard. You know what I mean?
Most YouTube fail videos are straight fail videos. They're all like skateboarding or like jumping off
guys-
of roofs.
Yeah, exactly.
As
Just
somebody who
slamming their
skates.
nuts into what's that?
I'm a skateboarder. Bitch.
You are like very straight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the rub.
The
Therein lies
ATV
the rub.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about that later though. Get into your straight fail story, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Your
would-
epic straight fail compilation. Funniest straight fails.
It's the Truman Show of my life up until this point. Little background. I dated a guy when I was in my senior year of high school.
Okay, brag.
I was 18. He was a little bit older than me, not like much older.
We gotta get you on the soundboard. Honestly, I want some Dash on the soundboard.
I'm gonna record. Yeah, it's gonna be 800 an hour, but we'll get there.
But he was like my first kiss, lost my virginity to him. Like I was obsessed with this guy because he was like the first dude. And then we dated for like 6 months, and in my head it was like 6 years, and then we broke up. And he broke up with me at this coffee shop. Very like nice, appropriate breakup. And then I was like, I'm gonna get back out there. I'm like summer after high school now. And
oh man, what is it about a fresh start? Like, you know what I mean? You get to summer, it's graduation.
yeah,
You think you're gonna be this whole new person.
you really think it's gonna
Those
change.
transitions when I'm doing it right now. I'm thinking, when I move, all my hip pain's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
And it's not, you dumb bitch. It's gonna be there, probably worse from all the moving. But anyway, continue. You're feeling confident.
I'm feeling very confident. I'm like talking to this guy on, I think it was Hinge. It might have been
You were
Tinder.
18?
I was 18.
Hinge existed when you were 18. I was like
She's
40 when
baby.
Hinge came out.
I know.
Was it Hinge? I don't know.
You're
Was
on
it-
a dating app, which in and of itself, I understand that for our younger listeners, that is just your
It's like our world.
life. But for us,
Yeah.
we
I
didn't
mean,
have.
I didn't get on until I was 18, my
Back
senior year
in
of high
my
school.
day.
Yeah. What?
Back in my day, I had to instant message my crush.
I went to a gay club called the Saloon in Minneapolis and got finger blasted by a baby boomer. That's what we did back in my day, man.
I had a little bit of generational overgap. I was on Google Buzz in like 4th grade.
Oh my God.
What's-
Google Buzz. I would like
Yes.
go and like stalk this guy I liked, and he would like post like
It was their
stuff
failed
about like this
attempt
song
at,
lyrics
at
funny.
like a Facebook or like a MySpace type of thing.
Did not last,
Wait, was
but
that
it
Google
enabled me to have a lot of
Plus?
crushes.
Adjacent? Or
Google,
was that...
I think it might have been on the same family. Google
Yeah.
Plus. Yeah.
Which what a just flop Google
Yeah,
Plus.
oh my
Sorry,
God.
stick to the search engine.
I have to say
Yeah.
again, this is turning into a straight podcast. First we were in Call of Duty. Now we're talking about tech, failed tech.
Yeah.
You guys start your own guy podcast.
So I meet this guy in the dating app, and he had the same name as my ex, but I was like, that's okay. He's like the cutest guy on here. I really like, this is fun. That's not a big deal. And then I was like, let's get coffee. And he was like, let's go to this place. And I didn't think about it until we got there, but it was the place my ex had broken up with me. And we
no.
sat at the same table. He was like,
Yes.
let's just like sit here. And now I'm like sitting at a table face to face with someone with the exact same name who I'm like, you're also kind of similar looking.
Yeah.
Like it was like I was recreating it like a copy of
Yeah.
a copy. And I was like, this is so weird. And I couldn't get out of my head the whole time that I was like, just like a version from hell of the exact same experience. But then nothing ended up happening. We talked for like 3 hours, and he talked about acid a lot. And then and I was like, this is horrible. But then I went home and I was like,
That's straight fail number one.
that's
Yeah.
straight
By
fail
the
number
way.
one is
guy
a guy
talks
who
for
talks
3
about
hours.
psychedelics
Yeah, for 3
and has
hours.
learned nothing from them. You do
Yeah.
psychedelics all the time and you're the most boring person I've met. This is one of those stories that like it is a small moment. You know what I mean? It's not like that monumental of a story, but it was so earth shattering that it holds a big place in my life. Because I texted him a few days later and I was like, "Do you want to like watch a movie at your place?" No response. First time ever like trying to hit on a person. Just no response. And I was like, okay. But then I worked at a restaurant at the time.
Man, this is another hard thing for the youth. When you asked someone out before, there was AIM, but ghosting wasn't even a thing, really. You could stand someone up, but the ghosting is a text-based, app-based societal thing. You had to call someone. You had to look them in the eyes and someone
to get nothing in response.
Yeah.
Like, usually they'd have to be like,
and they're so young to have that happen to you.
I know. But I turned out fine. I'm not having any sex and I have a lot of weird hobbies.
Wait, was there an element of like you feel like you reclaimed the space? Like, did you go to the cafe again later and you were like, this is fine now, or no?
I wish I could spend not getting laid into reclaiming the space, but I really don't feel like I did anything radical. I do love that cafe. I do love that cafe. And they gave me a free cookie one time when my card declined. I was getting a chocolate chip cookie, not to brag, and my card declined, and I was like, I'll just put it back. And they were like, it's on us.
They were like, did you get ghosted recently? I can smell it on you.
Oh, is this chocolate chip cookie the only thing going in your mouth ever? Have it.
What?
Wait, but I didn't get to the part of the story that was so. There was an.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
I thought the catastrophic moment had already happened.
Well, see, that was part one. But then what's really embarrassing is that I worked at a restaurant and he came in with a friend, and I, trying to be friendly, instinctually, I didn't even think about it. I was just like, hey, and I waved him, and he was like, oh, and I was like, right. You don't want to fuck me. Sorry. He thinks that I was like not reading the situation, trying to salvage it, but genuinely I was just, my instinct is like, I saw someone, so I waved. And then I just had to like bus tables around him as they finished their meal after I had like waved to somebody who ghosted me. First time trying to have sex after
you're
first
like,
boyfriend.
honestly, Maddie, you are the sweetest, one of the sweetest people I've ever met.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice.
I don't know how well you know Maddie, but Maddie expresses genuine joy for other people's like happy moments in life, accomplishment. No, not a tinge of jealousy or like, how did you get that or whatever. You are just so kind. So it doesn't shock me at all that this man who ghosted you came into the restaurant you were working, probably with a woman he was fucking. You don't even register it. You're like, oh my gosh, it's so great to see you again. I had such a great time. Let me get you a free cupcake on the house. It's so great that you're pounding that woman. I'd love to get coffee just as friends sometimes. You're that type of person.
Here's the thing. Because of that, I feel like you really like threw it down in that interaction. Like you came out with like your head held super high.
Yeah, kill him with kindness for sure.
You.
It's like he probably felt awkward, but like whatever. You did a great job. You were nice to him. How long after that was that, by the way?
That was like a couple weeks maybe.
Yeah. Wow.
You were so brave. Such a stiff spine in that moment.
He's the asshole. He ghosted.
Yeah.
He could have had the balls to say, hey, I had a good time, but romantically, I'm just not feeling it.
Yeah, but he was low T. He was low T and he didn't say anything.
You're on that like weird Twitter thing with the green lines. Like, what's that like incel thing where they're...
You guys are back on male internet. And first of all, I've never heard low T until this moment. And now I just imagined every Joe Rogan podcast episode ever with like various like low T references.
Yes.
Low T is a thing people say to each other on the internet.
I think people do though. I feel like, right?
You're
an expert on straight guy culture too.
What's the green?
I think straight guys like us do say,
are you a virgin or are you a male incel? We'll swap your gender every episode.
No.
On some episodes you're like the hall monitor and the virgin, and on other episodes you're just straight up an incel.
You know why I'm not an incel? Because incels blame it on other people, and I fully know that it's just because I've thrown myself at arts and crafts.
Yeah.
That's why. I like do think I could get laid if I wanted to. You know what I mean? I do.
Could.
I just
hundreds of our listeners have DM Maddie to have
It's
sex
so nice.
with
and
them.
you said no to all of them?
No, I just haven't responded. Oh my god, I'm the guy.
You did exactly what that guy did.
I'm restarting the cycle. No. I'm absorbing the behavior of men. No.
Oh my god.
But we didn't talk, and then I ghosted them. I just have not responded yet.
Nah, sounds like you're the problem.
I'm so sorry.
Sounds like you're
it
low
was
T.
hundreds of people.
Sounds like you're a low T little bitch. Incel low T bitch.
I know a doctor who could get you on some tea if you want to supplement.
Wait, you know what's so interesting? This could be pseudoscience, but I think it's a real thing that your testosterone is higher when you're like on your period. That's real, right?
Yeah.
Because I noticed that my like fluctuating gender
also,
feeling.
I said that so confidently. Doctor listeners, write in. Please correct me if I got that wrong. I said that so confidently based on my Flow period app that tells you what your hormones are where. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've seen a picture of the testosterone being higher around my period. Yes, definitely.
But I noticed that I feel more. I like want to present mask more when I'm on my period, and I don't know if that's problematic to say.
So funny.
I know because
it's not problematic to say,
but it's true. I literally feel like it goes through.
Gender fluid listeners, write in. Do you feel most masked when you're bleeding? Let us know.
I mean, because it's like blood. It's like it's like that's part of it.
It's actually a really fun way to look at it. That the period isn't feminine; it's actually masculine.
Yeah. It's your body.
It's
I mean,
purging your womanhood.
I had a joke about it.
By the way, if anybody in the comments hates what I'm bringing, let me know, bitch. I'll read the comments.
No, I do think it's purging you because it's literally
That's
like
so
this
funny.
egg, get the fuck out of here, bitch.
Yes.
I mean, trigger warning, but I'm binging and purging womanhood. I'm like going skirts, and then I'm going, get the fuck out of here, and then I'm whipping all the way back.
Love.
The fact that you did a trigger warning on that was so sweet.
That was really nice.
That was very sweet. That was oh man, I was gonna ask you what the green lines are. What are the green lines on Twitter?
Oh, I think it's a deeply problematic, weird incel thing. The idea is like, okay, wait, can we do an example on camera? If we stand up, will we be in it?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you like, wait, Ashley, like if you stand up straight,
I have a photo of you guys.
if you're like standing up straight,
I have horrible posture, so I guess I'm a beta. Maybe that's why everyone thinks I'm shorter than I am. I'm
nothing's-
5'8".
nothing straight about you. You can please stand up straight. At least stand up bisexual. But if we were taking a picture and I was like
Stand up bisexual.
if you were standing like that and I'm standing like this, they would like draw a line and be like, oh, I'm the beta because you're like they're succumbing to your will. And so they'll like take pictures of guys who are like with their wives
and they're
slightly
like
leaning
over.
into like the woman they love, and they're like, you're like giving up your power. It seems it's deeply like dangerous, like a horrible section
the
of the internet.
misogynistic. I really do. If I started a second podcast, it would be a character podcast of one of those guys because it's just fascinating to me the level of misogyny that. I mean, like, isn't it exhausting for them not to be able to bend over a little bit, like to just lean? You can't lean. Like they're not allowed to cry now. They can't lean in a photo.
They don't need to. The gamer chairs stand straight up in the back.
Yes. And I was going to say, if you want to research those men, get on Xbox Live with me immediately, bitch. I will put you in touch.
No, it's very actually sad and disturbing. How do we get on that?
I don't know. Another call, slide into Maddie's DMs.
Yeah.
They need to get laid. Immediately.
Like, so that I can keep my job here. Like I need to fuck to keep up with the podcast.
Yeah.
I need to fuck to keep up with the podcast. Are you kidding me? I don't know how this thing is still. Someone wrote a great review. Someone wrote a very kind review. They were like, best podcast of all time. I was like, I can't believe for over 2 years I've been telling my gay sex stories. And it's still good. Unreal. Maybe this week will be the week that they're like, Ashley, you made a girl deeply uncomfortable and she ran out of your apartment. You have to stop telling these stories.
This is one of the worst podcasts of all time. Heel turn, bitch.
Butt plugs. What are you working on? Where can people find you?
Oh, yeah.
Any tour dates or anything like that?
No, but, you know, in terms of shows that I'm hosting, I have a few in the fall. The one that's big, New York Comedy Festival. We're hosting Thanks But No Thanksgiving. Me and my friends Tyler Clare and Brian Bahi. Who
I love Brian. He's done the podcast twice.
Love.
Yeah, he's great.
So he and I, or the two of them and I, are going to be hosting at Union Hall. And I actually forget the day. So you're going to have to Google it, bitch. Good luck, listeners. So come to that. Also, watch Rutherford Falls on Peacock, now streaming. I wrote the finale. I also make an appearance.
Oh my gosh.
You
in
wrote
episode
the
4.
finale?
Yeah,
That's
co-wrote the
insane.
finale.
That's so
We
cool.
love.
That's so cool.
I got writing credit. You like write all of them, and then you also don't write all of them. You get it.
Yeah.
That's how writing works. So feel free to kind of indulge in that show on Peacock. Message me on Twitter, Instagram. I forget what are my handles on that. Instagram is Disturbia 2007 Film, and Twitter is Cocoam Official. Cocoam spelled like the Pocahontas character, the guy in it who's straight.
Why Disturbia?
For some reason, I've seen that movie over 100 times.
I do like the movie.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie. It started as a bit when I was in like the 9th grade, and I had like a DVD, and we watched it. Like I watched it like 4 times in the theater just because we were bored. Like that summer, it came out April 13th, 2007, and then we saw it like 4 times in theaters. That's also back when movies were in theaters for a long time. And then after that, we watched it like 3 times in DVD, and I was like, I guess it's a bit now, and I've now seen it like over 100 times.
And you feel that for your career?
Yeah, I think it's really important that I tack my career onto a 2007 horror film that actually nobody has watched in probably over a decade.
Yeah. But I liked it when it came out. I remember liking it. Maybe I'll take that back now. Maddie, you want to plug anything?
At Maddie Wiener on Instagram. And
Let's get Maddie's count up. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Let's get. You're at 10K.
I think I'm at 11.6 now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I can't take credit because your episodes aren't out yet.
I truly don't know what happened.
Did you go viral?
No.
Did your
Wait? No, that's not true. I had one clip. It didn't go viral, but it did like okay.
How'd it do?
I honestly don't remember. It was like in the double thousands.
Nah, it doesn't.
You know
make
what?
sense.
I don't know.
Wait, what?
Maybe I was just giving out
not
good
your
vibes
Comedy
that
Central
day.
set?
It might have been the Comedy Central. They reposted it on Facebook. That's what it was.
There you go.
That's probably what it was.
All right, I think we're done. Oh, my plugs. Shut up, Alex. Shut your fucking mouth. Listener, I am zoom. I am going. I'm mixing my YouTube personality and my podcast personality. Bottom Nation. I'm going on tour. Wait, should I bring out the merch? No, I'll do it in the. There's merch. There's tour stuff. Just go to ashleygavin.com. Sign up for my text list. Patreon.com/WHGS.
Really nice delivery there.
Thanks for listening, guys. We have a new staff member who, look, I ran out of gay thoughts. I'm not all my gay thoughts. I have to recoup some energy for the gay thought. So this week we have my new executive assistant, creative consultant, magic person, Sydney, who will be doing her gay thought. Come on over, Sydney. I tried to applaud on the soundboard and it didn't work. Wow, new staff member, Sydney.
Hello.
Into the mic.
Hello.
Sydney's gonna share her gay thought. Oh, I guess you should introduce yourself.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Hi, I'm Sydney. I'm Ashley's executive assistant. And I love her.
That makes me an executive.
And I love her cats. My gay thought is that I've been thinking about the differences between platonic love and romantic love, and what the actual difference is, tangible that you can say in a sentence, differences between those two things, besides just that you have sex with the other person and not your friend.
Well, I don't say I love you to my friends very much.
Really?
Yeah, a couple of them, but not most of my friends are straight men.
Oh, well, I say I love you to my friends all the time. My close friends.
I sometimes. So you're saying, what can you say to your friend besides I love you?
Well, what makes those feelings different? Because you don't love your romantic partner the same way that you love a friend. But how in your brain you see those two things as different, but how do you actually describe the differences besides the sex part?
Right. I think for me, it's when I wreck my life for this person.
That's a good difference.
That was kind of a bit, but also not. All right. Thank you, Sydney. That was actually very thoughtful. That's more thoughtful than anything I've ever said. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good week, everybody. Listener, you just finished this pod. Why not check out another one? I gotta recommend my new favorite podcast, Dare We Say. Join Josie Tota, Alicia Pascual Pena, and Yasmin Hamady, 3 fearless young actresses, disruptors, and best friends as they navigate the issues that affect their lives on Crooked's newest podcast, Dare We Say. From hookup culture and social media to structural racism and LGBTQ plus rights, the girls are leaving no stone unturned and no DM unread when it comes to discussing what matters. They won't shy away from diving deep into controversial topics that are important to their generation. The girls even turn to their elders, actors, activists, comedians, experts, politicians, and 26-year-olds in an attempt to understand the world their generation was handed and what they can do to improve it. We promise you don't want to miss this show. So grab your kombucha, your iced coffee, and your 17 other beverages and catch a new episode of Dare We Say every Thursday wherever you get your podcasts.